Welcome, IT changemakers, to the DEX Show with Tim Flower and Tom McGraw. Let's get into it.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special edition of the DEX Show, and that's because it's an episode dedicated to the upcoming Experience Everywhere 2023 World Nexthink Tour. Well, it's not really a world tour, but it is a fantastic tour that touches upon 4 amazing cities, starting what will now be, I believe, next week. Nexthink is going to be meeting customers and prospects and partners and analysts in London on October the 10th, then in Paris on October the 12th, in Boston for our flagship show, the 24th and the 25th, and then finishing things off in Munich on November the 7th. It's always a hugely, hugely exciting time of year, and the big news here on the DEX Show is that the DEX Show is going to be there. We're going to be live on stage. And I have with me, as ever, Tim Flower, to sort of celebrate and announce this. Tim, how's it going? How are you feeling about our return to Experience Everywhere?
Yeah, Tom, I couldn't have been looking forward to this episode more, to have both you and our great colleague Paul Gentile, who we'll bring in as well. But I was thinking back on the history of Experience Everywhere. It actually started... We've been doing the conference almost since I got here in 2015, 2016, but they started a lot like other tech conferences, started as a bit of a user group, kind of regional in the US. I know that Pedro had been doing one in Europe as well. It was called Analytics. The product was called Analytics. The conference was called Analytics. I think we had a tough time getting a draw into both the product and the conference because no one really connected with what that analytics thing meant. But to now have it as DEX, to have it happening in the Experience Everywhere happening in 4 countries around the world, and to get an audience like we've got, and now to have our DEX show up on stage, which I'll also give you a little history on. The podcast idea actually generated from a roundtable that we had on stage one year, and we said, nice. This would make a great podcast. And it took maybe 6 months to a year, and then we got it rolling. So I'm psyched to get it live on stage.
I know, me too. And we have, since the foundation of this podcast, we've been kind of entwined with Experience, of course, haven't we? We've hosted it now twice. This year we have our live gig on stage. And let me now invite our special guest, Paul Gentile. He's VP for Product Marketing and Sales Enablement at Nexthink, and a key organizer of this year's Global Event Series. Let me just bring him on to ask him, Paul, was this a demotion? Was this from the host to the live slot? I mean, tell us frankly. We're between friends. Nobody can hear what we're saying.
Not a chance. Not a chance, man. But geez, am I also just as excited and fired up to not only be at the event, but to be here with you guys and to see you all do your special thing while we are at the events. I think it's going to be absolutely energizing. I think it's going to be exciting. There's so many great speakers and so many great sessions that we have planned that is going to make this particular Experience Everywhere World Tour, as you said a few moments ago, extra special. But by no means would this ever be a demotion. This is a huge opportunity. Man, I'm always glad and excited to grace the stage virtually or in person with both of you handsome gentlemen.
Okay, man, I'm kind of reassured by that, Tim.
So, Paul, you and I also shared the stage in, 4 cities at our company kickoff. We were around the world doing our thing up on stage. So I'm psyched to kind of, have you here to help us go through a bit of the agenda, work together to help spread the word. We've got, this is actually the first time, too, that the conference has reached a place in the U.S. where we can do 2 days, right? Boston, it's not the case with the other cities, but in Boston, we're really focusing on the customer community and making sure that coming to this conference is valuable for them. So we've got some instructor-led training, 3 specific learning tracks with training, some user groups in the afternoon. So if folks are listening to this podcast and are thinking about coming, come for the full 2 days and sit in on some of that instructor-led training, as well as the the user groups that first day is going to be a great value add to the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you think about the evolution of where the company and the event started, as you gentlemen just said a few moments ago, to think about sort of where we are now and where we're headed, this thing is going to keep growing.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to keep getting better. It's going to keep getting bigger. And to that end, right, not only for the Boston event, but for each one of the cities across the globe that we're doing it, there's a reason that we're calling it Smarter. The theme this year is smarter, and that's really what it starts to unlock. And as this thing starts to grow, just as the podcast has grown, and as we've brought on more and more true individuals and organizations that have gotten religion around what DEX is and what it can do and what it can ultimately enable or unlock from a smarter instance and making your organization achieve that much more, there's no reason that this thing has grown to... There's a particular reason this thing has grown to where it is, and there's no reason not to think that it won't keep getting bigger. It won't keep getting smarter based on the inputs and collaboration that we have with all of these massive organizations that have decided to go on this DEX journey with us.
It's a great point too. We've got some really great customer names. I'm gonna hesitate to put any maybe verbally here, but great logos. Actually, specific to the DEX show. Honeywell and Toyota North America joining us on stage, along with a few others in the afternoon. The agenda, though, starts with Mary Beth, our VP of General Manager of the U.S. She always does a fantastic job getting us excited and kicked off at the outset. A bit of a keynote from her. She's titling it "Welcome to Beantown," which I love being in Boston for this one. Kind of growing up in the Northeast. Boston's always been my home away from home, so love that we're in Boston, and then flowing right into Pedro's keynote, which is on its own is always outstanding. Pedro, he shared with me a couple of weeks ago in Boston. I had lost track of the actual number of years that he's had this product in production when he actually brought it to market. But he said, Tim, it's 19 years this year, and I said, Pedro, we're going to have a big blowout next year when we hit 20. But his vision, to see his vision, to hear him talk up on stage, this is his baby that he's nurtured for 19 years. I'm so just proud to be a part of it still and help the whole company get this thing really rolling. And to hear him on stage is great. And then he always has a fantastic back and forth, and love hearing from Sam, our Chief Product Officer, about his vision. He's done tremendous work over the last 3 years, bringing us to the cloud, getting Infinity up and running, and the possibilities now of what Sam and his teams can do is endless, and can't wait to hear from him and see what's going on for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll drop a few other speaker names, right? A couple organizations.
Name drop, Paul.
Yeah, well, you think, and if anyone is more interested, even if you're hesitating, do not hesitate. Get here. We're actually starting to run out of space, but there still is an opportunity to get there and to really enjoy the entire show. Take best practices that you're going to hear from people on stage and apply them in your own organization. But to hear from some of the great folks at Deloitte and what they've done to continue to build additional momentum. We've got Guy Freude, their Chief Technology Support Officer, who has been instrumental in everything that they've achieved with their DEX strategy going on. I've been working personally with Greg Giles from PayPal. He is his title, Distinguished Platform Architect.
Love that.
And he has really done some unique, amazing things with what they've sort of transformed on the service desk side of things, leveraging Nexthink and what they've been doing with their his vision on implementing a digital employee experience strategy in a really, really meaningful way. He'll be sharing some other great lessons learned, pitfalls to avoid. So just to name a few who we have coming up on stage and where you're going to be able to learn, in addition to many, many others. So huge opportunity to learn, share, and also have a little bit of fun, because that's part of what you do when you go to these types of professional development sessions and events as well.
I think I did close to 15 plus years consecutive going to conferences, 10 years straight in Vegas, a bunch of years straight down in Orlando, Florida. And, I made the mistake early on, and I probably made the mistake later on too, of having maybe a little bit too much fun. So it's always a risk in Vegas to have a little bit too much fun. But I think the bigger takeaway for me was my career and what I was able to do for my employer at the Hartford was so much more amplified, having the ability to go see what other people were doing and shamelessly steal from them and make it my own, and then start implementing where I'm at, right? You never want to start with technology like you're recreating the wheel and you're starting from scratch. There's no better way to get things really accelerated than to learn and collaborate with what others have, collaborate with others and learn from what they've done.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. I mean, it's face-to-face is always better when it comes to those types of things. And there's a little bit of that, that air quote water cooler conversation when you do get to be in a moment, whether it's Vegas or whether it's Boston, London, wherever it might be, right? Sharing in those stories, breaking bread with people, having a little bit of fun, while still sort of anchored around what is most important to you and what you've got to accomplish at work, because so many people care about the impact they're making. There's no doubt that these are the kind of events that can really help you get there, and then also make lasting relationships, but also make lasting impact and a footprint on what you want to achieve with your own career. So, very well said, sir.
And looking around the conference itself, Paul, what does Experience Everywhere facilitate or offer in order to facilitate those connections and that kind of social and learning dimension, besides just sitting there in the conference and soaking up the keynotes?
Well, for one thing, we're going to have you gentlemen there to help orchestrate some things and have a little bit of fun.
Don't come near us in person, everybody. Okay, do not approach Tim and I. Okay, security's going to be present, and just a warning. People get a little excited.
You know what though? You know what I think it was Ralph Waldo Emerson. I might be mistaking here who spearheaded this quote, but attitude is contagious, right? Attitude is everything. I know that is not the right author of that, but it doesn't matter. That is meaningful for people interacting with both of you gentlemen. But anyhow, Tom, back to your question.
I'm just looking up your quote, actually. Emerson, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I misquoted it, but the actual
the
spirit.
It sounded good. I don't think it was Emerson, but that's cool. It was very. You said his full name very confidently. I enjoyed it.
The spirit of what I was saying there absolutely rings true, especially when it comes to both.
I heard a rumor too, guys. I'm going to spread a little bit of a rumor too. I heard Taylor Swift was going to be in the audience in Boston.
Oh, without a doubt, she's not gonna miss it.
Maybe one day. Maybe that'll be next year. Maybe we'll be able to do that.
And one I haven't heard mention of yet, Paul, is around analyst presence. I mean, are we well represented there? Can people hear from the best, most influential analysts in the land at this year's Experience Boston?
Absolutely. We will have both Andrew Hewitt from Forrester, who will be helping us out and be featured as a keynote for what it takes to sort of continue to accelerate your own personal DEX transformation based on all of the interviews and conversations that he has had with enterprise organizations across the globe. He's always a delight to have on stage.
Always good.
And then we're also going to have Tori Pullman, who is the Senior Director Analyst at Gartner. So we've got both the big dog analysts that will be there, really helping to sort of lay out the landscape and what you need to be aware of as it relates to really doing meaningful DEX work.
Forrester released their wave last year. I think they do it every couple of years. Looking forward to Gartner getting their Magic Quadrant out next year. We're leading the pack with Forrester, and every expectation that we're going to be leading the pack with Gartner as well. But as an attendee, you not only want to hear from the vendor, who, quite frankly, is a little biased, but we've got some great stuff to share. But you also want to hear from the less biased, the more practical folks from both the analysts and the customers. So really looking forward to them getting on stage.
Where do you guys think what do you think the analysts are going to bring to the show this year? Like, what do you think the general emphasis is at the moment as they're looking at the DEX industry? either respectively or together? Where do you think that they're going to be pointing in terms of the imminent future direction?
Yeah, I think they keep it high level, and they talk about the evolution of end-user compute, right? It's no longer electronic inventory and electronic software distribution and the kind of the basics. Those are the table stakes. EUC is evolving, and it's almost as if this concept, and it's really not a concept anymore, this discipline of DEX is starting to overtake the traditional ITSM and systems management of UC. And I think they're going to talk about what the future brings in terms of managing employees and their experience versus managing the devices themselves and the impact and the output that you can get from employees. I think they're going to weave in a little bit about AI and where that human intelligence meets artificial intelligence, and how to make people smarter with AI, and not so much AI taking over, but making people smarter. And that's why our conference is kind of themed that way. I don't know, Paul, what you're thinking they might bring.
Oh man, I think you just nailed it. Absolutely, just nailed it. There's a. I'll even give a sneak peek to the headline of Tori's session: "Change today to change tomorrow." Right. So it's the reality that if you do not have a true DEX strategy or aren't thinking about it, that you're going to be left behind. That there is that this type of revolution is here, and that you need to get on board and start to really embrace what's happening in order to stay out ahead of things, because the amount of data that is out there and making it meaningful for the end users and leveraging that type of data is paramount in order for your organization to not only stay strategic but to be successful. And we know that. We've gotten the religion. We understand what is happening there. But it's really, really exciting to know that the analysts are helping lead the charge on that front. And they're going to try and paint a picture for why that's so critical and how you're going to start to implement that. Or if you have started to implement that, what the next step on that journey or the vision is over the next 2-3+ years.
And you get left out in a couple of different regards, right? It's your existing IT people and their ability to do their job. It's the productivity and efficiency of your employees, but it's even bigger than that. It's now the competition to not just retain but attract new talent in IT, give people better job satisfaction, better career paths, and the ability to attract and retain employees on the business side. There's so many factors that go into it, and the adoption of huge enterprises around the country and around the world are a testament to the fact that people are starting to realize that.
Totally. And gentlemen, we've given a pretty good overview of the definitive digital employee experience event. We've spoken about some of the customers who are going to be there, some of the analysts who are going to be there, some of the podcasters who are going to be there, but focusing purely on Boston, we have still left out perhaps the most exotic and fascinating of all the guests who are going to be on stage that day. And I'm not talking about Tim Flower, ladies and gentlemen. I am talking about the mind-bending mind reader, Leo Suchard.
The mentalist.
Paul, tell us about the mentalist, the master mentalist himself. Leo's going to be there, Paul. If people don't know who Leo is,
I'm the mental one. He's the mentalist.
We have him there to try and straighten Tim out. No, folks, if you have not had an opportunity to have the Leor experience, this is truly your best opportunity to do so, and you will not be disappointed. Leor is a well-known, understood, or maybe I shouldn't say understood, well-respected mentalist, as Tom just said, who does all sorts of different predictions and mind-reading moments as he helps us on stage. We'll be interacting with the crowd and really bring the idea of, as we said earlier, smarter to an entirely different level, where he will potentially break some minds, blow some minds, and really add a little bit of excitement to what we've got going on. We did a couple different, as a sidebar here, we did a prep session with him. And I had seen him on YouTube. I had seen him on some of the late shows. Actually, a few other YouTube clips. So if you do get a chance, you should look him up. If you're, again, at all wavering on this, he alone is worth the price of admission. And he will absolutely just make you smile. He will absolutely blow your mind, as they say, because of the just unique approach and pieces that he brings to the table on how he is out there trying to make you think twice.
So let's tell that.
Again.
Let's tell that little bit of the behind the scenes. He brought up his iPhone on camera with us in this prep session. He flipped through a list of the top 100 companies in the world. You know, the big ones are up to Exxon, Mobil, Coca-Cola, GE.
Yep.
He's got a list, and they're all numbered 1 through 100. He flips through it. He turns it back around. He calls on you, Paul. He says, Paul, pick a number from 1 to 100. Do you remember the number you picked?
I picked 78.
78 or 79. He turns the phone back to the camera, scrolls down to 78, and number 78 is Nexthink. Oh my God! We all had some theories about how he might have done it, but it didn't make it any less impressive to know that, just to kind of have our mind blown, even just on a prep call.
Yeah,
that's cool. Where you wish I wish I was on. I didn't have my camera on because my jaw literally had dropped and I had trouble pulling it back. I felt like a cartoon where I had to use my fingers to pull my mouth back shut.
And you did mention there, Paul. You said the price of admission alone. I thought it's probably worth honing in on that particular phrase, because I don't think the price of admission is so very much, is it, Paul?
It is not. It is a very good price. The price of free.
The price
as long as you can get here. As long as you can get here, it is going to be an absolutely awesome, amazing time. Not only will you be entertained, but going back to what we said earlier, sharing best practices and being there, right? It is just part of getting here and being taking part in the amazing event that we're going to be putting together.
I mean, incredible. And we will, of course, mention how you can get hold of tickets, even at this late stage, at the end of the show. But before we get there, Paul, maybe just one last thing. If you're listening, why should you come to Experience Everywhere? And who is it that you fundamentally want to see and meet there?
What a great question, the second part of that. For me, I think it's an opportunity for anyone that's going to be in attendance to make an outsized, lasting impact as they travel back and get back to their own organizations. It was my first Experience Everywhere last year. I went to all 4 of them, but just the stories that were shared, the opportunities to connect with people and learn different things. Even though I'm not an EUC practitioner, I'm not an EUC engineer, who tend to be the majority of the folks there, as well as directors, VPs, and true C-suite folks that are in these organizations. What was shared, I was able to implement on my own and try different strategies and tactics to help me be more successful in my day-to-day job. So I can't even imagine, as it was those folks that tend to be practitioners and strategists in this particular space in their own organizations, the return's got to be absolutely phenomenal. Who do I want to see there? All the folks that I just mentioned, right? But really, those people that I'd like to challenge, the people that are potentially unsure about taking the big leap and deciding, yes, we're going to go all in on what we need to get done from a digital employee experience standpoint. Those are the folks that I'd love to see there. Those are the folks that I'd love to interact with. Those are the ones that I hope can come get a feel for all the different successes that these organizations are having, these enterprise organizations are having across the globe by partnering with Nexthink, by implementing a DEX strategy, so they can, again, get religion around this and be even more successful in their day-to-day.
And I'll just build on it briefly. I know we want to probably wrap this thing up too, but after 28 years in IT, this is why I came to Nexthink, to spread the word. I love talking with our customers. Our existing customers already have seen the light; they already get it. I like interacting with people that are trying to figure it out. The big thing about this conference is that it's not just a user group. It's not just a user community. It's for non-customers as well, right? A lot of our listeners on the podcast are not all customers. If you're not a customer, but you want to come find out more of what this thing is all about, come to the conference. Talk with our executives, talk with our product people, but most importantly, talk with our customers and get a better sense from them of what the kind of that art of the possible is and what you can do with it. I think it's worth highlighting that this is not just a customer conference. This is it's for anybody and everybody that wants to know more.
Yeah, I love that, the art of the possible, Tim. I think that describes what you hear on stage really, really well. And I'm just going to add to that it'll be my fourth experience, and the atmosphere is always fantastic. The people are always lovely. You do hear from a lot of fascinating people. You will learn a lot, but you will have a good time as well. Not only at the social events, but even in the conference room, you can hear an absolute pin drop even as the day is closing. You know, people are absolutely rapt. They are dialed into what's being said, because what's being said on the stage is stuff they can take home and make themselves more successful, more effective professionals with. Do you know what I mean? And I think if you have that opportunity to visit Boston or Paris or Munich or London over the next few weeks, please, please, please do so. Guarantee you won't regret it. And I was only kidding earlier when I said don't approach Tim and I. It's the only chance we actually get to meet our listeners. Yeah. So we actually really happy when people come and say hello. Please do. Paul, how can people get hold of a ticket? Where can they get hold of a ticket for any of these events? And obviously in the show notes it'll be there, but if they're listening and want to hop online right this second, where do they go?
Very, very easy. Nexthink.com/experience. Brings you right there, gives you all the information that you need, including the agenda, an overview of the event, the themes, the objectives, and right smack dab in the middle, right smack dab at the top, as well as the right, are register now links. All you need to do, and then we will follow up and get you ready to rock and roll and take place in this amazing event.
And the best things in life really are free, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to experience everywhere. Be sure to connect, learn, collaborate, and see at Experience across, I'll say it one last time, London, Paris, Boston, and Munich, across October and November. We will see you there. Tim and I will see you there. Paul will see you there. And we can't wait to see you there. Paul, thanks so much for coming on. We wanted to have that chat about Experience. It was good to see you back on the DEX Show, mate.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. And I can't wait to see you gentlemen face to face next week in London at each one of the events. So thanks again, and hope to see all of you listening there as well.
See you there, man.
To make sure that you never miss an episode, subscribe to the show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcast player. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, make sure to leave a rating of the show. Just tap the number of stars you think the podcast deserves. If you'd like to learn more about how Nexthink can help you improve your digital employee experience, head over to nexthink.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.